Welcome to the Missouri Valley Football Teleconference. My name is Bonnie, and I will be your conference operator today. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. If you would like to ask a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press the pound key. Thank you. Mr. Kern, please go ahead.
Thanks, Bonnie. And we do have 9 teams starting with games this week, including 3 games on Thursday. As noted in the previous release, we do have 4 teams ranked in the top 25 in the preseason poll, including Youngstown State, who is ranked 21st in the coach poll and 24th in the sports poll. Youngstown is owned by the coach of Youngstown State, Eric Wolford. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Trip over to Champaign, Illinois, to Fighting Illini on the Big Ten Network this Saturday. Talk about the Illinois ball club, and then we'll open it up for questions from the media.
Oh, we're excited to get over there. You know, it's probably going to be the last time we'll have an opportunity to play a Big Ten team. The Big Ten's trying to get away from playing FCS opponents, but, you know, I'm very familiar with Memorial Stadium. I've been there 2 years. I think it'll be a good opportunity for us to go over there and play in a great environment. But, they got 18 starters back, both on offense, defense, special teams. Coach Beckman and his staff feel good about this team they have. Talked a lot about the guys working hard in the off season. They've had a good camp. They've added some depth at defensive line. They returned their secondary. They returned an experienced offensive line. They got a transfer quarterback in that sat out last year named Wes Lunt, who played at Oklahoma State. Big kid. He's about 6'5", 225. Good football player. And Coach Kubick runs a very wide open offense that we'll have to be prepared for on Saturday.
Thank you, Coach. Go ahead and open it up now for questions for you. Questions from the media for Coach Eric Wolford.
To ask us a question, press star 1. Our first question comes from Jeff Kolpak of the Fargo Forum.
What's the recipe for FCS upset over the years, in your opinion?
Well, Jeff, you know, I think the thing is just getting off to a good start in the football game. I think there's going to be adversity, just like in any game. You got to go out and be ready to endure that. I think you have to get your team prepared for that. At the same time, I think there needs to be an expectation of going into those games that, you know, you can only play 11 guys on the field at one time. I know those teams have 85 scholarships, but it's still 11 on 11 at the end of the day on every play. And, you know, it's a great opportunity for our conference this weekend. You know, you look at the matchups across the board, whether it's Northern Iowa and Iowa, North Dakota State and Iowa State. You know, you look at even South Dakota State and Missouri. I think there's a lot of teams out there that have great opportunities this weekend to represent our conference.
Okay, thank you.
Again, for questions, press star 1.
Coach, your next question comes from Jim Powers of the Valley Radio Report.
Coach, how are you?
Coach Powers, what do you got?
You know what? It's a hot day here in St. Louis. I know you guys had some good weather out in Youngstown. Talk a little bit about the offense. Obviously, lots of graduation. Talk about some of the things that are still a little for you.
Well, I think you got to start at quarterback. Dante's the guy that's been in our program for some time now. He's been patient. He's waited for his opportunity. And we have a lot of confidence in him. He understands our offense. I think he also understands that he needs to manage the game. We have a lot of skill at the running back position. We're very skilled at receiver. We're very strong at tight end. So, you know, just manage the game. Take care of the football. Do the things we ask you to do. And I think we'll have a chance to have success. Our offensive line, on paper, probably shows some youth as far as that goes and maybe some game experience. But this is by far our biggest and most athletic offensive line that we've put together since I've been here.
Outstanding. Well, good luck this week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach, it looks like that was the only set of questions we had for you this week. Appreciate your time. Good luck in Illinois.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next
Coach, join us will be Mark Farley of Northern Iowa. The Panthers also playing an FBS game this weekend, opening up at Iowa. Northern Iowa ranked number 15 in one poll. That's the coach poll, and number 9 Sports Network poll. We'll hope for just a second. We know they're ready to call in
just a minute.
As we wait for Coach Farley to dial in, we do have, as I mentioned, 6 games on Saturday against FBS opponents, all of them on the road, of course, all of them on national TV. 3 games open up our conference slate this Thursday. Missouri State at Northwestern State, Valparaiso at Western Illinois. That game will be seen on ESPN 3 as well as WIU TV 3 in Macomb. And Taylor opens up at Southern Illinois also on Thursday. Our Saturday slate includes the aforementioned Youngstown State at Illinois, Northern Iowa at Iowa, North Dakota State. They're ranked number 1 in one poll, number 2 in the other. Will battle Iowa State on Saturday. Indiana State opens up at Indiana. South Dakota State is at Missouri, and South Dakota travels to third-ranked Oregon on Saturday night on the Pac-12 Network. And we're now joined by Coach Mark Farley. Good morning, Coach.
Coach Farley?
Yeah, good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good morning. Good, how are you?
Good. I know you were at a full staff meeting. Thanks for stepping out to take the phone call with us. And you could preview Saturday's game at Iowa, of course, another in-state rival game and the Big Ten school, so it's a tough challenge for the Panthers.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's always a tough challenge, but it's exciting and it's an opportunity, so we embrace it and move forward. They're probably as good as they've ever been, and this is one of those games that it's important. Not only to us, but I think how we represent the league and our university. So there's a lot at stake at the same time of going down and playing.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Let's go ahead and open it up for some questions now for you from the media. Questions for Coach Mark Farley.
To ask a question, press star 1. Our first question comes from Jeff Kolpak of the Fargo Forum.
What's been your experience at Jack Trice Stadium in Iowa State over here?
Jack Trice? I tell you what, the Iowa State venue is, it came so far. I remember playing it years ago back in the 90s when we first started playing them, and it was a big deal at that time, but the last 2 times Jack Trice has grown so much, and the fans, the support of their fans is really unreal. They've taken that to another level as far as their home games and their home events, and the tailgating and the people sitting on the grass banks. I mean, it's a big time event. They've came from. I always say Kinnick Stadium is an awesome experience, but Jack Trice, as of the last 5 years, has become one of those great venues in the country. And now they're going to enhance it even more by building in the bank on the south end. So I just think it's a credit to their fans and their alumni for what they bring to the 3rd largest stadium in the Big 12. And I've experienced some of the largest crowds down there playing in front of those, and they're great fans that really support their team.
Okay, thanks.
Again, for questions, press star 1.
Mark, you comment about
David Johnson. Of course, he performed well against everybody, but the FBS schools in particular, he's got great teams against the FBS programs. Talk about his, I guess, his importance in this game and your season.
Oh, David's gotten better each and every year, and of course, running backs are always someone you look to lead a football team, and we're fortunate that David's been very productive for us. He's a great leader, great person off the field, so he becomes the face of your program. And yet, on top of this, he's playing in the state of Iowa, with the recognition he's already had nationally. Now he's presenting himself, to 70,000 fans who kind of wonder how he ended up at UNI, not at Iowa. So, the great thing about this state is they're supportive of the people that come from here, no matter what uniform they wear. But he's very important in our program, and look forward to having him have this opportunity, and yet, have the kind of season that he's looking forward to as well as we all are.
Thanks,
Coach. We do have an additional question in the queue for you.
Our next question comes from Jim Sullivan of the Waterloo Courier.
Mark, good morning.
Good morning.
A little bit about Alex Pop and his rise to the depth chart. How was he able to climb in a position where he's listed as a starter?
Well, Alex is a very intelligent player. He came in and transferred in actually from a Division III school when Christ came. But to his credit, he's grown. He's worked in the weight program. But what really gives him the opportunity to play for us is his intelligence. He's a smart player. He knows where he's supposed to be. He knows how to use his skills. He knows how to use the defense. So he can perform at a higher level. So he's like I'd compare him to the Josh Mahonies that have played for us in years past. It's not so much the athleticism as the intelligence that makes him very productive. And athletically, he's very good, but yet the intelligence brings him to the top of the depth chart.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Mark, that was your final question.
Let's get back to the staff meeting. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye-bye. We do have Coach Mike Stanford of Indiana State with us. Indiana State opening up on the road at Indiana, but State, and Coach, we talked about having to play a lot of games early, but certainly opening up at IU is going to be a tough test on Saturday.
Yeah, we're excited because we don't leave the state until October 18th, so that's a really good thing. We have IU in the state on Saturday, and then we play Ball State at Ball State later in the year, and then some home games. So that's a real plus. And we do have a very tough challenge against IU on Saturday. We're excited to be able to be playing them at 12:01 on ESPN News, and we're looking forward to the game.
Thank you, Coach. Let's open it up now for some questions for you from the media. Questions for Coach Mike Stanford of Indiana State.
To ask Coach a question, press star 1. Our first question is from David Woods of the Indianapolis Star.
Yes, good morning, Coach. I was wondering what you've been able to, to glean from last year's game going into this year's game, where Indiana just scored so many explosive plays.
First of all, obviously, they're a very good football team last year, very good offense last year, very good offense this year, and so we know that going in. They have explosive running back, explosive receiver, and obviously the running back is Tevin Coleman, and the receiver is Shane Wynn. Those two guys are very explosive, and then the quarterback Nate Sudko, who had a big day against us last year. So those are some people that we know we have to deal with. We have to stop or have to slow down, and then obviously they have a very good offensive line.
what do you, their defense has changed. Does that make Indiana any more difficult to prepare for?
A little bit, I think, because there was a carryover in coordinator a year ago, and coaches a year ago, we kind of knew what to expect, but then we did not know what to, we do not know exactly what to expect from them this year. So that does make it a little more difficult to prepare for.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Todd Hepperman of the Southern Illinois newspaper.
Hey, Coach, second year, where are you compared to where you wanted to be, entering your second season right now?
Well, I think, obviously, last year didn't go anywhere close to what we had expected or wanted. But at the same time, I'm very optimistic going into this year. I feel good about our team going into this year. I feel like one of the most important things for us is improvement. And we have the good news is we have a seasoned quarterback. That's Mike Parrish. Going into this year, we have some solid players on defense. We have some very strong players that are juniors. The leading one of that on defense is Connor Underwood, who's a pretty seasoned confidence player. And so I feel like we're a lot different than we were a year ago. We've been through a lot. We know our team a lot better. We know our strengths and weaknesses a lot better. So I would say those things are different, and those things are also affect how I see where we are.
What are you really emphasizing offensively? You had so much changeover on both sides just with all the injuries, but then you have some guys that played a lot too back on both sides. What are you emphasizing offensively?
Well, I think first of all, going into the year with Mike Parrish as the starting quarterback and as the clear starting quarterback, I think that's important thing. We went into last year with we named Mike the starter at game time, but we had an unsettled situation at quarterback. We went in with a lot of different things schematically to take advantage of different skills of different quarterbacks, and as a result of that, I think we had too much going into last year. And this year, we're focusing on what Mike does well, what our players in our system do well. I think we've got some receivers coming back from a variety of injuries and health issues and just immaturity when they transferred. Again, some JC guys, some 4-year transfer guys. And then, we've got to be able to run the football. Buck Logan is a senior returning running back, and we expect big things out of him. So I would say those are the things we're going to emphasize.
Thank you.
Mike, that was your final question. Thank you for your time this morning. Good luck.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
We'll see you next week. That's Coach to join us. We brought back at Illinois State. Illinois State does not have a game this week, but opens up against Mississippi Valley State on September 6th. Morning, Coach.
Morning, Mike. How are you?
Good.
Does it feel weird not being able to play this weekend after kids chomping at the bit a little bit?
It does feel a little strange, but it was. I think it's been pretty good for our team, and we've given them a little time off towards the end of summer conditioning, and I think that we kind of revitalized or re-energized their batteries, and had a good camp so far. So it's going well. I know they'd rather be playing probably, but it all works out, and I think we're moving along.
I don't know if you're wrong. Time to hear about Indiana State's schedule, staying in the state of Indiana for the first portion of the schedule. Your schedule sets up pretty nicely with 7 home games, including the first 4. Talk about your schedule, and then we'll open it up for questions in the meeting.
But our schedule, we been a little different. You know, we had scheduled to play Ball State, and they elected to opt out of the contract. So we were scrambling to find games, and like a lot of us do in our conference, and we were able to find a program that was willing to come up and play us up here, Mississippi Valley, and that really helped us. And it we lost that opening day for this weekend, but we probably gained by having 7 home games. Well, last year we had a brand new stadium. We opened it up last season. We only had 5 home games, so this year we're going to make it up to our fans and have 7 home games. And who knows? Maybe we'll have a few more after that. But we're happy to be at home, and we have particularly we have on offense where we have a young team still, and but I think it'll bode well for us down the stretch, hopefully.
Thank you, Brock. Let's have some questions for you now from the media. Questions for Coach Brock Pack.
To ask Coach a question, press star 1. Our first question comes from Todd Heffernan of the Southern Illinois newspaper.
Hey, Brock, your quarterback battle, is it still going on this week, or are you going to try to name a starter by midweek this week?
No, we're not going to name one for a while yet. I don't think we're still kind of in the mix of that. We're still in kind of a, believe it or not, we're still in a kind of camp mode still here, training camp mode, and at least the first half of this week, and because we won't start preparing until the end of this week for our first game. So and the team we play has a new staff, so it's we're kind of shooting in the dark what we're going to see. So we're just working on us right now, and I think next week, hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have an idea. Those guys have been traded off reps. We've been rotating them through, and both players are playing very well, and we have a very good young quarterback, a freshman quarterback, Jake Colby, who's going to be really good, I think, and we're going to hopefully be able to redshirt him and have him for 4 more years after this year. So that situation's gotten a lot better in just a very, very short period of time. So I'm very happy with the position, but not willing to throw out a starter yet.
Okay, thanks.
You bet.
And for questions, press star 1.
Coach, our next question will come from Jim Powers of the Valley Radio Report. Coach,
thank you.
Good morning.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you.
Let's talk a little defense, because I know that's where you're going to be leaning very heavily on, especially up front. New names that you're going to be looking at to fill some holes from last year.
I've been pretty, we've been, quietly optimistic, and have been encouraged by the way our young front has played. We had a kid named Teddy Corwin, who's from St. Louis, who redshirted now. He's I think a redshirt junior, or maybe his 4th year now. He might be a redshirt senior, but he'll have 1 more year after this. But Teddy's really come on. He's had a very good training camp, had a really good spring. We moved Colin Coetian, our tailback, believe it or not. He's a 270-pound tailback. We moved him over to defense, and he's been surprisingly pretty good so far. So we feel really good about those guys. We redshirted a couple of kids a year ago that shown signs they can help us as backups. We got Braden Prate back, who I think is a very good player, one of the better players in the league. He tore his ACL against North Dakota State. We've kind of had him on a pitch count, if you will, if you kind of compare it to baseball. We've had him on a pitch count as far as reps go. They don't overburden him a little bit, but he's put on some weight, and he's playing pretty well. I don't think he's at top flight condition. He's going to be we wanted to under condition him basically, so he could. Obviously, the rehab's gone very well, but we wanted to kind of break him in slowly during training camp and get him up to speed. He had no contact in the spring, so he's been well. And I've been encouraged. Our linebackers are better than they were last year. That'll help our front too as well. We had a transfer from Oregon, Shea Dunmore, who's been very good for us so far, and we have a little more depth there in linebacker, I think. And Meehan and Donnelly have had quite a bit of experience now, and returning starters. So I've been quietly optimistic that, you know, I seem to be competitive against our veteran front on offense, and there's been a lot of draws, a lot of stalemates in our training camp, and sometimes they've won a few. So, been pretty happy with where they're developing. But, you know, we'll see when we play another opponent, but so far so good.
Outstanding, Coach. Enjoy one of the last weeks of getting to relax a little bit before the season.
We're in training camp still. There's no relaxing here today. We're going out, and it's kind of hot, and it's going to be, you know, kids got school too, so it's been a little different dynamic. But maybe I think the NCAA should look into playing into reducing the 29 practice opportunities. I think 21 days is plenty. You know, I think we overdo it a little bit, and maybe that would help our players be a little more fresher down the road. So I've liked it so far.
Coach, and I'll call Mother Nature and see if you can get the temperature under 100 too.
We kind of like the heat a little bit, not too much, but it helps us a little bit. Our first opponent, obviously, being from Mississippi, they practice it every day they live in it, so it's a little different for us. But we need it to be ready for our first opponent.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in your preparation. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
See you, Brian.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Let's go next to Bob Nielsen at Western Illinois. The London Knights opening up against Valparaiso on Thursday, one of our three Thursday night games. 6 o'clock on television from Macomb. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
How are you?
Good, Dave.
Good. Preview Valpo. You've got a schedule that sets up with the Pioneer Football League opponent, followed by a Big Ten opponent, and then you do it again with Break and Northwest. Talk about Valpo first, and then we'll open up some questions for you.
Sure. Well, interestingly, it's the second year in a row that we're playing an opening game against a team that has brand new coaching staff. So, and I'm sure Brock talked about, you know, when you're preparing for, you know, a team with a new coaching staff, you don't have the benefit of last year to really prepare in terms of what teams did offensively and defensively. So, you know, we're just really trying to prepare ourselves for the things that we can do well, and both offensively, defensively, and trying to practice those against multiple looks that we might get Thursday night.
Thanks, Coach. Let's go ahead and open it up now for questions from the media for Coach Bob Nielsen.
To ask Coach a question, press star 1. Our first question comes from Scott Holland of the McDonough County Boys.
Good morning, Coach. Do you guys prefer opening up on a Thursday night, or would you like to get going on Saturday? Or are you just pretty anxious to get going, get the season started?
I think Thursday night games prior to Labor Day weekend are really good because our students are here. We started classes on Monday. The Thursday night game could be a real focal point for your student community, and we get a great local following here, and the Thursday night game has some appeal for people that may be traveling or doing some things on Labor Day weekend. So I think Thursday night game is a great opportunity to hit the ground running, so to speak, to generate fan interest and fan support.
Thank you, Coach.
Again, for questions, press star 1.
Coach, you talked about the changes in the coaching staff at Valpo. Talk about what you might try to accomplish with a lot of starters returning from last year's ball club and a lot of them back. What's your primary focus on start on offense, I guess? Run pass next.
Yeah, I think the big thing there is better consistency. We moved the ball decently at times last year, but our consistency was not good. We went through some periods in games where we struggled moving the football. We've got to be better on third down. We've got to be better in the red zone. Those have all been focuses for us here as we work through the spring, and forward in those areas.
Coach,
let's get off to a good start against Valpo on Thursday. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Dale Lennon of Southern Illinois. The Lukey's also opening up on Thursday, playing Taylor at home, and then following that game in Illinois on September 6th. Morning, Coach.
Morning, Coach.
Morning, Mike.
We've been talking a little bit about the teams that are playing coaching staffs that are different. You've got a lot of faces on your coaching staff. Talk about the new faces on your coaching staff as you prepare for Taylor on Thursday.
Yeah, we went through some turnover, and you know, there's a lot of newness. You know, it makes your meetings a little bit longer. You got to be thorough with everything that you go through. Myself, all my roles have changed, and I'm trying to do the best I can manage the time factor that I'm going to be a key coordinator, both the head coach, and so the last couple of weeks have been extremely busy. It's actually good now to get into the season where a routine will take over and everything will fall into place. But this first game is going to be very important to us. Just work all the kinks out and hopefully, you know, keep everybody on the same page.
Thanks, Coach. A lot of faces coming back on the field for you, but a change in starting quarterback. Comment on that, and we'll open it up for some questions.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We do have a lot of returning players coming back that have experience. I think we are a dominant senior and junior high team. It's always positive. Now, one position that we don't have experience is the quarterback, and we have a transfer, Buck Iamati, who's come in and really fit in well to the schemes that we want to do. He fits our philosophies. Plus, he's a tough quarterback. And, you know, that's the thing that I like. He's somebody that can be your leader on offense. That's one of the tough guys, works hard, just does what he needs to do to be successful, and hopefully that's what we see tomorrow.
Thank you, Coach. Go ahead and open up the question in the media for Coach Dale Lynn.
To ask Coach a question, press star 1. Our first question comes from Terry Venturback of the Argus Leader Media.
You guys are one of the teams in the league that's, you know, in the tough spot of having basically a non-counter on the schedule. How did that come to play for you guys, and is that a concern, just being in such a difficult league and then knowing that if you win the game, it's essentially not going to help you at all in your playoff pursuit? Well, you've got two choices. You don't play a game or you play a game. And for us, you know, scheduling is tough. You know, it's tough to get an FCS opponent that wants to come and play at your place. And, you know, especially our situation where we've got a lot of new coaches in place. We need a game. So this is going to be positive for us, regardless of whether or not it's talent. Because the other option is you don't play a game and then you don't get that game experience. So we're not a whole lot different than other teams in the league. I think especially we have a reputation of being a team that's fairly decent, that other teams are a little hesitant to play up, and if they do want to play it, they do want to play it at their place. So it's kind of the nature of college football right now in scheduling, because that non-conference schedule is critical, and if you have a favorable one, it can really work to your advantage when it comes to playoff time. Thanks.
Our next question comes from Jeff Kolpak of the Fargo Forum.
Generally a recipe for FBS teams beating FBS over the years in your opinion?
Well, you know, I think experience, you know, I think the games that you look at will probably surprise people. It was usually teams that had a junior dominant football team, and you know, I think catching the team at the right time too is very important, and you know, it's something that's no longer uncommon to happen. So I think you got a lot of FCS programs that truly believe going into that game that they have a good chance to win it, and especially if you turn it into a close game. You know, the momentum probably starts building on the FCS side a little more. So it's just it's college football nowadays. I just don't think
When you say catch a team at the right time, maybe teams that are younger at FBS level or building a little bit?
Well, I think that's always something, when you play them, they might be coming off of a certain game. They might be young. They may have just had a coaching change. I mean, there's just variables that could help you as far as, if you got an experienced FCS team and you're playing a team that's brand new or young at the FBS level, I think you got a pretty good chance of winning that ball game. So, timing is, I think, very important, and give yourself a chance.
Okay, great, thanks.
Coach, that was
your final question. Good luck against Taylor,
and we'll talk to you
next week.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have
South Dakota's Joe Glenn with us. South Dakota opening up the season against Oregon in Eugene. Morning, Coach.
Morning, guys.
Jeff
Kolpak has asked questions about FBS and FBS success against those programs. It'll be a tough task as Oregon's pretty good. They're number 3 in the FBS poll this week. But talk about this game on Saturday, and then we'll open up questions for you.
We're going to try and make a good experience out of it. We're going to go play one of the top talented football teams in the country, and we're going to see speed. Probably we won't see again for the rest of the year. We're going to see a quarterback that's supposed to win the Heisman Trophy, and they're a very, very talented team. We all know that. And so what you do is you make a great experience out of it, great venue, and you go play your level best, try and become a better team by playing somebody that's so fast and very, very big. I think on their D-line, they're 6'9", 6'8", and 6'7". Anyway, it'll be a good experience, and you make it the best you can. I'm excited about playing Oregon, and I think our kids are. A great venue, but having played a team like that, it only can make you better, and that's what we'll do. We'll get better and come home and get ready to go for the rest of our season.
Thanks, Coach. You mentioned during our preseason teleconference about your young secondary, and have they made some good progress in camp?
Yeah, it just, it's not in games, and so that's the deal. You got to do it on game day. I mean, and then you don't scrimmage maybe as much as we used to. Seems like we used to have a lot of scrimmages, and but the idea that you don't want to beat your own team up, you want to. Last year when 2 running backs we lost before the season even started. So we haven't scrimmaged an awful lot. We've gone goods against goods in practice, those types of things. But we got, I think, 11 guys that can play that have shown, and there's JC transfers, a couple of those guys that sat out last year that had been from another school and were in our program, redshirting. And then there's guys come back that have been on the team. Steve Ellison is probably a senior that has the most experience, although he didn't start full-time last year. So Zeke Lewis at one time was Oklahoma Player of the Year on defense. Jacob Warner's another kid out of Oklahoma that played at Central State, and he was on scout team last year. I watched him every practice, and I know he can play. It just got to see him play in a game with a game suit on. So we got a couple of JC corners, one from Iowa Western, one from Santa Ana Junior College. They both look pretty darn good, and they're great kids. Really glad they're with us. So it might be, if there's strength in numbers, that should be good. And I just feel like we'll get better every game. And then I think we're going to play a couple freshmen, true freshmen, back there, and we've got a couple redshirt freshmen that in the mix. So that's kind of the way it's going. That'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Thank you,
Coach. Let's go ahead and open it up now for questions for you from the media. Questions for Coach Joe Glenn.
To ask Coach a question, press star 1 on your telephone keypad.
Coach,
our first question is going to come from Jim Powers of the Valley Football Radio Report.
Coach,
good morning. Morning.
Talk a little bit about the offensive side of the ball. Mike asked you about your defense secondary, but a couple teams are returning from last year, especially your quarterback that got some reps for the end of the year and did some great things. Talk about how the camp has gone so far.
That's our guy right now. He's just voted team captain. Kevin Earl is his name. He's a big dude. He's John Wayne in our program. He did some things when we had people around him last year were pretty special. His first real go at it was at Northern Iowa, and he on the road, something we haven't done, and in a close game, something we haven't done. We won, and then we continued to win it. We went over to Missouri State and Indiana State. And then the roof caved in. We lost our other two running backs, or they were knocked down on the shoulder and knee, and all of a sudden you're trying to piece in other people at tailback, and we didn't really have a running game the rest of the year to speak of, or healthy anyway. So we now have 4 running backs that can play at this level. Corey Kilgore, we redshirted last year, can play. I'm excited to see him get some chances, and Jasper Sanders was our fastest guy before he snapped his wrist in a freak weightlifting deal before the season started last year. Jasper's been named co-captain as well. And then the two guys I've got good feelings about, Trevor Bama and Jordan Roberts, two good tough guys running back. So we got some back. We got 3 linemen that have started full-time last year. We're going to play a guy at center that I think before it's all over will be one of the better players in the league as he grows. Sam McLaren is a guy that's really good football player, 6'3", about 310, and very athletic wrestler, good leader, good temperament at center, and anxious to watch him play. But we've got, I think, 60-some starts in the offensive line, so we're going good there. And then we got some receivers. Riley Donovan took his red shirt off before the Northern Iowa game, and he had some huge catches there and went on to have 500 and some yards receiving last year. Josh Vandermott was our quarterback. He's now working at wide receiver, and he's pretty special. He's 6'2", 215, and can run and jump, and he'll make some plays this year. Sanders is going to be a little bit of a splash at running back, at slot, at wide receiver. Jasper's got speed, real good hands. Ben Kramer's a guy that didn't quite get into the mix last year, but he's had a great spring, a good fall. Munchie Schubert, Eric Schubert, a junior college guy, really has made a neat impact on our team. He's another guy that can go outside or slot. He played quarterback in high school and some in junior college. He's done really well in fall camp. So we got some guys, I think, that if we can put something together and stay healthy, we'll get better.
Outstanding, Coach. Thanks so much. Good luck this week.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Our next question comes from Jeff Kolpak of the Fargo Forum.
Well, I'm guessing Oregon will have the greatest uniforms ever and the best facilities ever. Is there a risk of deer in the headlights for you?
I hope not. You know, this is the Hoosiers deal. The basket's 10 feet, free throw line's 15 feet. It's the same size of field. And we just got to go stay focused on what we do and not get caught up in Oregon and this and that and what the uniforms look like. They have some notoriety regarding their fast break offense, and we're going to see it in the league, so it'll be good for us to see it. I don't know what we're wearing our home uniforms, so I don't know what they're up to there. So it doesn't really make any difference. That's not going to make a difference in the game. But I know we'll see a good football team, and we will play our level best and just get better. That's my whole take on the weekend.
Okay.
Thank you.
Coach, that was
your final question this week. Thanks for your time, and good luck in Eugene.
Thanks a lot, you guys. Bye-bye.
All right,
bye-bye. Next on the line is Coach John Stiegelmeyer of South Dakota State, also opening up this Saturday against an FBS opponent who's ranked. Missouri ranked number 24 in the poll in the FBS, where South Dakota State ranked 10 in both polls in the FBS. Good morning, Stig.
Hey, Mike.
What can you tell us about Saturday's the 2:30 game on ESPNU? Preview this game for us.
Coach Pinkel's done a great job, obviously, and they're a team that has great tradition now, and after going to the SEC, appear to have even improved their speed. And I think that's the biggest thing. You know, Joe talked about it. The speed of their team compared to our normal opponent is so different. And so we're looking forward to going down there. We're going to go down there with the same attitude we've had in all these games to try to play our best football and ideally look at the clock in the fourth quarter, and who knows what can happen. But our guys are excited. They're tired of beating on each other. I think we're all in that same boat. And game week is special, and you know that. Everybody in the nation knows that.
Thanks, Jake. Let's go ahead and open up questions from the media. Coach John Sticklemeyer.
To ask Coach a question, press star 1. Again, for questions, press star 1. Our first question comes from Terry Vanderbilt of the August Leader Media.
Coach, you got an interesting situation on, especially on the right, left side of the offensive line, where you got, three kids making their first college start, and oh, by the way, patient that speed you mentioned. How do you? What kind of things have you guys, if any of you, kind of tried to do to get them? I don't know, to line them up against quarterbacks in practice or what? But how do you have those guys get anywhere near ready to face even that first play and that kind of speed coming at them?
I think the biggest thing, Terry, is to watch the film and see the scout team is not going to give you that look. Our number one didn't give you that look in practice, in fall camp. So just be ready for it. And my deal is more not the physical part, but the mental part of being ready for the challenge. Don't go in there walking around. Don't go in there like you're a tourist looking for a stadium. Go in there with the goal to play your best football, and the challenge is high, and the team is great. But let's control what we can control, and that's our mindset, and I like it.
And you guys have, two colleagues and everything where you guys get from Columbia. I assume you've at least had coaches down there and stuff. What do you pick up from those two guys, or just being down there just in terms of, the atmosphere around the program, or having a little bit familiar with that area?
Well, Missouri's one of those teams, and there's a lot of these in different states, but everybody grows up in the state wanting to be part of the program. So, the two guys from town, Pickerel and Freeman Simmons, obviously they wanted to be a Tiger. The other guys we have from Kansas City area all wanted that. So they're you hear about this, they're going to go in there with maybe something they think they need to prove a little bit. But there's a whole different level of football. We need to eliminate those what I would call distractions and focus on, again, what we can control. But there's an excitement for those guys, too. There's an excitement about family and familiarity, and so hopefully we can build on that. And all I hear about is how great this program is, and that's what I see on film. So I, as a coach, am looking forward to going down there and getting a taste of Mizzou football.
Okay.
Jake, that was your last question this morning. Thanks for your time, and good luck in Columbia.
Super. Take care.
Thanks, John.
Bye.
Let's connect to Coach Chris Plowman of North Dakota State. The Bison looking for win number 25 in a row, and a tough task at Iowa State this Saturday. Morning, Coach.
Morning, Mike. How are you?
Good. Let's talk about Iowa State previous Saturday's game for us, and then we will open it up for questions for you.
Yeah, we're going into Iowa State, and they've got a new offensive coordinator in Mark Mangino, so a little bit, we're not sure of what they're going to do. We've looked at a lot of film from previous years and looked even at a little bit of Youngstown film, but we've been kind of preparing for a lot of different
offensive looks that we can potentially see. Their defensive staff has remained intact, so we've had some pretty good looks there on film. But it's a great environment to play. When I was at Northern Iowa, we played at Jack Trice a number of times. It's a great environment, and I know there's a lot of excitement around Iowa State football and progress that they've made in the program, and we're looking for a really good game and a real challenge for ourselves.
Thanks, Coach. Let's open it up now for some questions for you, questions from the media, Coach Chris Kleiman.
To ask Coach a question, star 1. Our first question comes from Randy Peterson of the Des Moines Register.
Are you guys having trouble down the road scheduling FBS opponents because of you beat them every?
Well, I don't know about 4 years. We've been fortunate. We've had pretty good football teams the last 3 years that I've been here, but I think all of us in the Missouri Valley are down the line going to have a tough time scheduling BCS opponents with Power 5 realignment and stuff. But I know our next one is 2016 at the University of Iowa, and Gene Taylor said that we have to continue to play that one, so I'm hoping we get that one. And then beyond that, I'm not sure where we're at.
Does that anger you or frustrate you, or I don't? What kind of feeling do you have about that?
No, not at all.
The Big Ten has said they're not going to do it.
Yeah. I think it frustrates all of us in the Missouri Valley. Of course, we all want that guarantee game, and we all need that money game. So I'll let the higher powers to be figure that stuff out. But no, I think it's fun for all of our kids in all these Missouri Valley schools to play those big games. You know, to go out to Oregon, to go to Missouri, or go to Iowa, go to Oklahoma State. All those are really fun for our players, and so I hope we get to continue to do those things.
How many people are you going to have here Saturday?
Myself?
Family, yeah.
Oh, probably 30.
Okay.
So it'll be a reunion. It's the second closest trip for my family other than the Northern Iowa game.
Okay. All right, thanks, guys.
You bet.
Our next question comes from Rob Gray of Cyclone Fanatic.
Hi, Coach. Coming into the season, obviously, it looked as if the most unknowns were on your offense, given what you lost. Graduation. How have those guys come along? Obviously, you have a lot of knowns there, too, and a 1,000-yard rush, 1,000-yard receiver, and Carson, the quarterback. I'm sure you have a pretty good feel for what you can do.
We feel good about their progress now. It's just going against each other, so I guess when the lights come on Saturday at 11 a.m., we'll find out how well they've progressed. But, the experience we have with Crockett at running back and Brott, receiver, and even a couple of our tight ends back, I think is a bonus. We feel Carson is ready to go in this kind of environment, but time will tell. He's been a backup here that for the last few years has played in some games, but probably not on meaningful snaps. So we know we've got a big challenge ahead of us this week, and just as I listen to other people, we've got to get better this week. That's the number one goal for us, is to get better and start kind of clicking before we get into conference play in October. And this is obviously a big challenge for us right off the bat playing at Iowa State.
Quick follow-up. Is Carson a guy that is, in the past, maybe back to high school and things like that, when the bright lights were on, he was better? Does he get a little bit tight maybe sometimes? Does he have to be calmed down a little bit, or is he pretty even still as far as that goes?
I think he's a pretty grounded kid. He's really excited about his opportunity because, in the past couple of years we've had Brock Jensen, who was just an unbelievable quarterback for us in our system, and even as a staff in the past few years, we'd always said if something happened to Brock, we feel Carson's a very capable guy that could continue to lead us. Well, unfortunately for Carson, it's taken 3 years for him to get to that spot, but we're excited about what he's going to do. We know he's going to make some mistakes. We know he's going to have some inexperienced faults that are going to hurt him throughout the game, but we hope that he learns from this experience as well as the next 3 non-conference ones we have and leading us into our conference season. So we're excited about his potential.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Our next question comes from Jim Nelson of the Waterloo Courier.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey, good, Nelly. How are you?
Good, real good.
Well, by my count, you've been involved as a player or coach in about 7 games at Jack Trice. Any of those, any memorable memories from those games? Well, we got a couple of wins, which were good. We had a couple of really, really tough losses. But I know this. It is a great environment for football. I enjoy going to Jack Trice. The fans are great. The environment's really good. It's probably the only difference for me is every time I think I've been there, it's been an evening game. So to play this one at 11 o'clock is probably the only change that I haven't had there yet. But no, I'm excited about it. It's a great environment, and we're looking forward to the challenge. Were you part of that 1987 game? I was part of the 87 game. What do you remember most about that? An onside kick, I believe, that they recovered and then scored to beat us really late. So I think I was a sophomore under Coach Moodra's team, and Terry Allen was our OC. Thanks, Coach. You bet.
Coach, that was your final question. Thanks for your time this morning. Good luck at Iowa State.
Thanks so much, Mike.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
We do have
Coach Terry Allen on the Missouri State list. Bears opening up at Northwest State in Louisiana on Thursday. Good morning, Coach.
I remember that onside kick too, Mike.
I was going to ask that. I know you heard about it.
Yeah, we're excited. We get to open up Thursday night. Hopefully we're acclimated to the weather. We've had nice 100-degree days here, but we play down there, and humidity and heat will be something we have to address. Our football team is excited.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Let's open it up for your question to Coach Terry Allen.
To ask Coach a question, press star and the number 1 on your telephone keypad. Our first question comes from Jeff Koldak of the Fargo Forum.
So, Terry, how about the 87 game?
You know, that would have been our first chance to have won a 1A game at that time. We had them down and we were going, and they did the old huddle onside kick. Hadn't seen it before, and caught us, and then they went down and scored. It was a very disappointing loss. It was a great environment. And there's been several with Northern Iowa and Iowa State through the past years, and that was really the first big one.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Our next question comes from Matt Vines of Shreveport Times.
Hey, Coach. The battle between your offensive line and Northwestern State's defensive line, obviously you've got Booker in the middle and experienced offensive line. They've got an NFL prospect at defensive tackle and Deion Simon and capable pass rushers. How do you see that matchup playing out, and obviously how important is that to everything else that you do?
Well, I think that's probably one of the keys to the game. I think that, our ability to rush football is very good at defensive football. It is a challenge, but, we have some veterans in the offensive line, so hopefully they'll be able to do that. But you're right on target there. I think that'll be a significant lead to the outcome.
Given how physical the game was last year, do you expect a same type of physicality, and is there amongst the players any type of a revenge factor, want to go down there and get one on their home field after they came up and got one?
Well, I think it would be a great open contest for both. I think it's a great matchup. Revenge for us. As you mentioned, that they came up there and beat us. We'd certainly like to return the favor. But I think it's really just kind of a real measuring stick for both teams. But if you were to put it on paper, I think you'd say this is going to be a heck of a matchup.
Coach, it
looks like that's your only question this morning. Thanks for your time. Good luck on Thursday night against Northwestern State.
Thanks, Mike. We'll see you.
Have a safe trip.
This does wrap up our call this week. We appreciate everybody's participation. You can now disconnect.